Hey guys, this is Colby Dissinger, and this is my last assignment for class EDL 850. Looking at a case study, Internet Use Violations. Interesting case study. Let's dive in. So, problem identification analysis, what do we know? We know that Miss Tate is a newer teacher, and she's really excited about her job. Really into it. She probably takes her work home and takes it extremely serious, and she provides a pretty intense workload, and then she has super high expectations because she is teaching an advanced level class with advanced level students, so she's really trying to push them to be the best. We also know that the students and parents are complaining about the amount of work that she's giving out and how instruction has been provided or delivered. After months of teaching, Ms. Tate was eventually sent an email that had a link to a Facebook post that basically had a threatening message to her. And we also know that Ms. Tate was concerned for her safety and passed that information on to her principal, Dr. Smith, and that's where we leave off. What do we need to know? We need to know who sent this post. We know why they sent the post. They're not happy about the workload, but we need to know who sent the post. We also need to know, is Ms. Tate being provided security until the resolutions to the threat is being resolved? That's a huge issue right here. I need to know what we can do to provide her safety immediately. Is she currently safe that night when she got that email from the kids? Identify the problem. We have an employee that has been threatened because of how she runs her class. It's clearly the issue. We have a threat to an employee. We need to provide a safe haven for the employee until the problem is actually solved. And then we also need to get the local police involved and collaborate with the IT to investigate the situation. Maybe we can tap into where this email it was sent from and identify who the culprit is. Action steps. Step 1: I need to provide safety to my teacher. Again, we're going to contact the law enforcement, make sure that night that she is being protected. She says she was staying at mom's house, but we want to follow up on that. We can't just say, okay, she's going to mom's house, mom and dad's house, and she's okay. We need to follow up on that for sure, because she needs to go to sleep that night feeling safer than what she's feeling right now when she called Dr. Smith. We need to contact the district office right away. This isn't something that happens in the morning. We contact someone in the district head right away so they're identified with this. We can't maybe address all the situations right now or all the matters right now, but we can identify some people so they're all in the loop so this isn't something they wake up to. We need to gather as much information from the students in the class because we got to figure out possibly where this letter is coming from. And kids can have a guilty conscience, and maybe by interviewing a bunch of kids in the class, we can find something out. Step 2, some of the procedures that we would take is determine by contacting the district heads what specific policies have been broken when the student threatened a teacher. I'm sure there is guidelines about not threatening any employee. We need to find in writing exactly what that policy is that the student is breaking here. Inform Ms. Tate of the district policy and procedure that we identified that the kid is breaking, so we can go forth with punishment once we investigate, which is step 3. We're going to investigate. I'm going to involve the law enforcement. We're going to interview kids close to the situation, maybe parents close to the situation, continue to talk to Ms. Tate or any other employees that would know anything about where this threat came from, who could have potentially provided it. Even though Ms. Tate provided a name, William, we're not going to make him the guilty party right away. He would be part of the investigation, but not the only person we look into. Resolve issue based on promoting student success. The resolution for the students' parents. There's going to be a disciplinary action that will be laid out for the guilty party, whoever that is. Could be a parent. Maybe the parent helped write. Maybe it was from a parent. But we need to make sure there's a disciplinary action laid out for whoever the guilty party is. I'm going to send out a newsletter after everything's going on has happened and we've done some investigation and maybe we figured out who the guilty party is. I think it's important as the building leader to be transparent and say, hey, this is a situation that happened in the building, and this is what happened to the student or the parent or whoever did the threat, and it's identified. This can't happen. Again, if it happens, here are the consequences. This is the district policy. etc. But I would put that in a newsletter, being extremely transparent, so we don't have rumors going around about turning in from, oh, did you hear that Ms. Tate got threatened from Facebook, to, oh my gosh, Ms. Tate had 30 kids in front of our house with pitchforks. So we don't want things to telephone tag and go chains throughout it. We're going to nip it in the rear with a concrete newsletter from the principal. I'm going to educate the students and parents on appropriate internet use too. Parents and students, I think, sometimes think they're invisible behind computers, and it kind of empowers them to say things they probably naturally wouldn't say in person, and it gets them in trouble. Teachers, we need to have some professional development, how to develop a strong parent-teacher-student relationships. I feel like there was some sort of glitch between Miss Tate and her students and the parents. I think that she had a vision for how to get the kids to be successful, and it didn't line up with the parents and students. But I think her vision was just a harder path and pushing them to be, better than what they think they could be. And in her mind, she was doing the right things. I think the students do want to get to that point, but they're wanting a different path. There has to be some sort of compromise there, because we're not going to take an easy pass, an easy layup. It sounds like some of these kids were just so worried about being a valedictorian versus working hard to get to somewhere, and they were kind of wanting just the A because they showed up, and they just get it because they're who they are. No, we gotta have some sort of relationship there to figure out where on both ends how they can get to a place of success. We need to address student concerns. How to address student concerns? Clearly, the kids have stated to Ms. Tate, "Hey, listen," or I assume they said, "Workload's too hard. Can we find a common ground?" And I think that could be a good professional development on how teachers can address student concerns appropriately, and how to prevent confrontational situations with students before it occurs. I feel like she didn't see the warning signs for this. I could be wrong, but it seemed like she didn't see the warning signs, so maybe professional development on how to identify warning signs to confrontational situations. Debriefing the problem through reflection, thoughts. What was I thinking? I'm concerned for Miss Tate immediately. That's the first thing. I want an instant resolution, but first she needs to be feeling safe. She needs to feel that she can sleep at night. Clearly she's rattled. That needs to be addressed immediately. My first concern is that. And then is identifying a resolution to the threat. Getting who this kid is immediately. That's why I want to get IT involved. I want to ping this thing and get a hold of this person ASAP and get law enforcement, because law enforcement is going to lay down the smack. That's a little bit more than a district would. And identify and discipline the student. I want to set an example. This kid is going to be the example of, you do this threat, this is what happens, and it's not going to be pretty. These kids want to be valedictorians. They want to go to college. This kid is going to get, he's going to have, let me just put it this way, he's going to have a tougher path getting to where he wants to be because of that threat. I had an email up there, that's why it startled me. What are my feelings? I'm disappointed in the students. I feel like this is a societal thing now, that social media, we can just hide behind our typings. Pretty sad. I'm very disappointed in the kid. I'm fearful for my teacher. I feel bad for the teacher. No teacher should feel this way or feel fearful to come into work. I'm disappointed in the student and parents for not embracing the challenges of the teacher course. It's like they just wanted to be given an A, like there was another path, another teacher that teaches the same class. And the parents are not promoting being pushed. From my understanding, I don't think this lady was trying to fail these kids out of some sort of rush she gets out of failing kids. She was trying to push them. And it's like these parents didn't want their kids to be pushed. I'm a father. I want my kids pushed. So, I don't know. I'm disappointed in the parents. I'm also hopeful for some change to prevent a confrontation like this one from happening again. That's my last feeling. I'm hopeful that something good can come out of this issue. Standard 5, first component, active integrity. I think that Dr. Smith did a good job because it did not place blame on the educator before further investigation. I've been in a workplace before where your boss is, I worked at a country club, and the boss would always take the side of the member before it would take the side of the employee right away. And I think that's dangerous because you can lose your employees that way, or that relationship between you and the employee. So I think Dr. Smith did a great job and did not place blame on the educator, even though he knew that she is too tough and has issues, and Dr. Smith worked on that. He didn't immediately say, well, this is your fault for pushing the kids. He didn't place blame on the student before further investigation. We had a name, William, but we don't know if that was a kid. So he's not going, hey, that's you, you're the problem. You really got to look at all the details before pointing fingers. He took the case extremely serious without making the teacher and the victim feel at fault. He moved quickly and read a message that was posted and to be a verified threat. And he took immediate steps to finding a solution to the problem. He didn't say, you know what, Miss Tate, we'll work on this later. He said, this can't happen. Let me see this. I got to see it right away. I need to contact someone right away. And we're going to get this addressed in the morning when the students come in. We're going to start interviewing them. That's the top priority. And that's what a good leader does. They take their employees' problems or concerns and move some to the top. Component 2, promoting success through fairness, discussed with the teacher, alternate methods to teach that have been more student-friendly. Dr. Smith also moved to making copies of threats to show various students in and around the situation. They contacted the district administration and IT department to help locate the threats and where they were coming from. He listened to the complaints about the teacher from the students and the parents. He acted upon the complaints by discussing different teaching methods with the teacher, so that the parents can't come at him and say, listen, what are you going to do? Well, listen, I've already talked to this person. This is how we came up with the resolution. You guys are still not happy. However, this is the person in charge of the class. We need to follow suit. Component 3, handling the situation in an ethical manner. Dr. Smith got the law enforcement involved. I think that you could maybe get too much danger. Dr. Smith could have got himself in trouble without informing the law enforcement of the situation. He was working with a teacher on the different teaching methods that she could do to use since receiving complaints from the teachers and parents, and then he assumed everyone was innocent until proven otherwise. So that's the case today. I thought it was a fascinating one. I thought that Dr. Smith did a phenomenal job of handling the situation. Hopefully they figured out who the person was and set the example of this is not going to happen. I think it's always important as a building leader or a leader of anything, if you're a manager or whatever, is to really take the side of your employee and be able to sit back and see all angles of a situation before pointing fingers. But making sure that the people that work for you are feeling extremely safe in their environment. And then if they were in the wrong, that there's a disciplinary action for them too. But it seems like Dr. Smith did an excellent job of handling this situation.